Blocktales is an amazing game, and I only have positive things to say about it. But there is definitely room for improvement. In fact, you'll be shocked by what hasn't been added yet, from challenging and personalized enemy encounters to awesome additions that would only better your experience. So, by the end of this video, I'm sure you'll be thinking about your own great ideas. Starting us off is a Sandbox Mode. A Sandbox Mode would be such a nice addition, since by far the biggest issue this game has is how difficult it is to re-encounter a defeated boss. You're forced to rather go into the pit and get a different fight than what you're looking for, or replay the entire game for just one boss. And while I think replaying the game is fun, going through hours of story progression just for one encounter is not. Plus, you'd be missing many resources you had on your main save file, limiting your strategic options. A Sandbox Mode could allow players to fight enemies they've previously encountered, whilst being able to change the background, attributes, and maybe even enemy layouts. A game was recently made with this idea in mind, and while it's definitely going to get taken down, the idea was really well received. In Sandbox Mode, each enemy could be accessed by defeating it a certain amount of times, kinda like the Hunter's Journal from Hollow Knight, where when an enemy is slain enough, you get a greater description of them. But in our case, instead of getting a description, the foe would now be available in Sandbox Mode. This would be amazing, letting creativity and freedom bloom, making creators like me have a much easier time getting footage. This mode would be accessed via a new guru. Like the pre-existing one, he would be found in a secret area. Alright, with the Sandbox Mode allowing us to refight enemies, which includes the final bosses, what would the current guru do now? Well, he would hold the key to refighting bosses in their DX or Deluxe form. A DX boss is simply a stronger version of past encounters, and this idea is beautifully displayed in the Mario and Luigi games. In those games, every boss fight has an optional refight that improves on their original design. We already saw how good of an idea this is, with Cruel King DX being an amazing challenge while remaining true to its original design. This guru could let you choose any boss that has a DX variant. Now, not every boss needs to be insane and have a complete kit rework. Simple color swaps or design changes with slightly stronger and faster attacks, having more HP is more than enough for most bosses. However, the final bosses would have the most effort put into them, with the similar execution of Cruel King DX. Also, when entering the Deluxe battle, there could be lore and dialogue included to give the battle significance to the story. Our final topic containing boss fights would be a boss rush. It's pretty self-explanatory. You fight every boss in a gauntlet, but I picture that you would fight every boss from one chapter, then move on to the next until fully completed, whilst getting a room somewhere between each chapter, allowing you to heal and swap your items around. Very similar to the Kirby games, who often offer such challenges. To complete the boss rush, you'd have to beat every single boss without dying. Straightforward idea, but definitely a fun one. This will be accessible by our third and final guru, who will be hidden and locked away until you've completed every boss currently available. That includes super bosses. After that, enter his room and challenge the gauntlet yourself. The requirement to enter the room would be updated every chapter with the addition of more bosses. Our next subject will revolve around badges, and if I'm to be completely honest with you, badges, at least for me, aren't properly utilized and thought about enough. For a pretty beloved game aspect, it should feel more influential. First thing that is necessary is a way to properly view them. In the menu, a badge section should be available, letting you see the ones that you've acquired and the ones that are missing, while having a tiny description for each badge, like what can be seen on the Roblox website. To make these achievements more enticing and rewarding, I think that each one should reward the player for something specific. It could be an item, a card, or even an avatar color. Any reward would be an awesome addition. However, for this item reward mechanic to work smoothly, we're going to want two badge lists. One would be a complete collection, showing how many badges you've collected in total, no matter what save file. The second would be a save file specific, showing the badges uniquely collected on that specific save file. I think this would be a really fun idea, but for this to work, any badges where it's one or the other, where you can't get both, cannot have a reward that is exclusively obtained by that badge. Finally, any badge that is no longer available because of story progression or updates would have a symbol to display this. Okay, let's talk about call cards. Call cards are a very well received mechanic, being a unique take on the partner system, and while there are a good amount of call cards, there is definitely room for more. Jerry was a joke ally that temporarily replaced Calypso following the events of Chapter 4. We already have one joke call card though, so while I believe there should be some changes made to his kit to make it more useful, his model and base moveset is complete, so it wouldn't take that much work to fix this call card. A fitting way to earn this card could be a simple wholesome task, like finding his favorite flower, resulting him wanting to aid us in battle. Kyoko is by far the most requested call card, but Demo 5's update changed her from being a recurring NPC who the player would bond riff and constantly see along their journey, to instead living in Turtopolis, where you would have to go out of your way to talk with her, losing what made her so memorable. So while I do think she would be a good call card, potentially being a supportive ally who could also throw her briefcase as a projectile, but her story would have to develop more before receiving it. The last two I have are Hatred and Trotter. Now, Hatred is a weird one. It feels odd for us to call him for help with our repression towards him as an emotion. However, if he was to be called, he should awaken in the player's body, making the player enter a state of uncontrollable rage, which could empower all our moves but force us into only attacking and potentially lower our defense. Although I have no idea how we would earn this. So let me know in the comments if you have any ideas. I always read my comments and I'd love to hear what you have to say. For Trotter, he could work as a powerful offensive card because of his lethal moveset, and the story behind getting this card could be really interesting. To have him join us, we might have to somehow free his soul from the Ancients, so there's definitely potential here. And that's all the big content additions that need to be added. But before wrapping things up, I'm going to quickly go over some minor things which could be nice to see. A statistics menu that would show us our most used weapon, card, item, animation flavor, total number of deaths, kills, damage done, and receive, plus many more fun details. A new section of the journal that explains every attribute and status effect encountered by the player. Add more sword and ball cards. We definitely need more of these. Add more potential effects to Lucky Start. Allow us to select past weapon versions. And lastly, add more save file slots. There's more I wanted to talk about, but I want to keep things simple. Alright, that just about wrapped things up. I love this game, and I'm glad it's still going strong after all this time. I'll continue to support the game, and I hope you do as well. I know what they have cooking up will blow us away, and I believe blocktales would seriously benefit from the concepts I talked about in this video. But you probably have better ideas than me. And these ideas that you have probably could greatly improve the game further than what I said. And I'd love to hear them. Feel free to share them in the comments and consider supporting me. With all that being said, have yourself a great day and see you next time.